Welcome into the I-80 Club, Wednesday night in the club.
In the club.
Jack, this is our first
Club.
Wednesday night pod in 3 weeks.
4 months. It's amazing.
3 weeks.
4 months. We did one back in August.
The last time we did one of these, Nebraska had not played in a bowl game. Thomas Fedoni was still on the team. Ed Foley had not been fired. And I don't know, there are probably some other stuff. The playoffs hadn't even started in college football. I mean, you know, Indiana was still the dream team before Kirk Herbstreit hated their guts.
Nebraska basketball was not in the top 32 of the Bart Torvik rankings.
That's true.
Maybe. I don't know if that's
true.
I don't know if that's true right now, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. How the hell are you?
I'm good. I know you were doing how'd the women's game go? Get a dub? Get a dub for the Blue Jays?
They got a dub. They won by 3 tonight. Tonight, Jack, was a Big East Digital Network broadcast, so your boy was impartial. So I was like, what a bucket from Marquette. And my partner would always like shake it like he's like, damn it, what are you doing, Creighton? What are you doing, Creighton? So yeah, it went well. I had a bad flub late. I was really mad at myself. I hit my head on my car on the way home, not my steering wheel, but on the seat. Because Creighton got fouled with like 3 seconds, and I was like, and that'll send him to the free throw line. Nope, it didn't, because that was only the second damn foul of the quarter for Marquette. Wow. So that was upsetting. But otherwise, I thought I had a pretty solid broadcast.
There are tens of people who will be furious about that.
Yeah. Hey, maybe more than that. People love flow sports.
Did you like overdo it on the neutrality where you're like, Morgan Molly for 3? She made it.
That'd be awesome. Just to prove to the Marquette homers
Just to prove the Marquette. Damn, they're watching it in Milwaukee, and they're like, damn, that guy is neutral as hell.
He's really partial.
He's kind of on our side, I think.
Is he a Marquette grad? Well, Husker for MU says it. Room in the bandwagon for Marquette, Josh. Yeah.
It'd be like, there you go. Husker for MU.
Does he have a Patreon where a subscriber is a Marquette fan? He seems to be leaning into the
Husker
Golden
for
Eagles.
MU watched that whole thing.
Yeah, Husker for MU. I hope so, too.
I do.
Well, welcome in, everybody. If you're hanging out with us live, obviously you're a patron. If you're watching after the fact, maybe after Friday, you're like, what the hell is this? This is the I-80 Club, baby. We do these pods on Wednesdays. We do them on Saturdays. Jack does a Nebrasketball brunch show with Caleb Henry on Friday morning, so catch that on Friday this week. He also does post-game shows, and he said the word shit last night within like 2 seconds of the podcast starting. I almost cut the video out of that, but I was like, I don't want Jack to get mad if that was the video.
I saw it got the E on Apple. I learned that today when I was messing around with our new link tree.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Did he say whoa, is the I-80 Club have a link tree now? Wow, things just took a different step of legitimacy here. Yeah,
Are you saying what the hell is a link tree? Jack, tell people what a link tree is.
It is a tree of links is what it is.
Whoa, what a name.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like if there were a bunch of links on a web page, sort of just one on top of the other. There's nothing like it that I can think of on the internet. But yes, I don't know how to quite explain it. It's really futuristic, but nonetheless, we now have one of those.
That's pretty sweet.
It's kind of, I mean, I could put it out there. It's kind of a beta version of it, but I guess I could put it out there.
Yeah, you're doing a good job, man. I thought it was cool. I thought it was really cool.
I thought it was cool too. I messed with it for way longer than I probably needed to, but
hey, by the way, how about this message from Husker for MU and Sam, our good friend Sam, we know that he'll be listening tomorrow morning because it's 9:00 and it's sleepy time for Sam. But Husker for MU says, Josh, legit internal debate if I should listen to this show or read Crossroads. The Franzen Hive, Jack. Do you know about Franzen? Do you know about the Franzen Hive?
It sounds like you're talking another language to me. I have legit no clue what you're talking about right now.
He's a writer. He's a writer, which, yes, is my wife. She says, seems like a good time to plug the book club. Jack, we're doing a book club.
I do know that because I have to go to the book channel so it doesn't show new messages.
Why don't you just mute it like I would if I don't want to see
I don't know why I don't. I feel guilty. I feel like I'm not cultured enough if I...
Jack, pretend it's the Husker baseball channel for your boy and just have it muted.
I am... Okay, I will... No stress. I will mute pro wrestling.
It's 2025. It's not 2024. My bad.
Pro wrestling? I mute pro. Is that still a thing?
Nope, looks like we deleted that. Probably a good call on our part. Wait, maybe did we have this in the pretend thing? It is. It's in the general section with books and fitness and hats. Sorry, pro wrestling, you're not in the sports.
This is a fun game. What channels do you have muted, and what channels do I have muted?
Oh, this is a great topic. Great topic. Okay. All right, let's see. I'm just gonna go top to bottom. Should we go top to bottom?
I can tell you. Wait, no, I got more than I thought.
Jordan says, I'm sure Josh has the parenting channel muted. I actually haven't. Thank you for reminding me. I will mute that right now. That's one of our newest channels.
Top to bottom.
I created that the other day.
All right, starting out in the club room, I have none of those muted. I doubt you do either.
No, I would never mute any of those. Okay. I don't have any of the live show things muted because why would I want the DJ Jack stage muted? Nobody would want to do that.
Pissed me. Nothing would have pissed me off more than that. Husker Sports. I have nothing. I want all the Husker Sports info. I don't care. I got no. You got something muted, don't you?
I'm gonna make some people. Well, I have baseball, of course. I have softball. This is gonna make people mad. I have volleyball muted. I have the volleyball channel. It's just there's so many shit. There's so many messages. I actually had the basketball channel muted until this season.
That's what we do with football and basketball.
I just unmuted the basketball channel this season, so I feel like I deserve points for that. Look at me reading the basketball.
You had the basketball channel muted before?
Yeah.
Last year during K-State Mania?
I think I'd pop in there from time to time to see what was going on in there. Matt, are you about to create a home ownership channel? Men are asking. No, definitely not.
That you have volleyball. If you would have said softball and even baseball, I would have been okay with it. But
I apologize.
Volleyball and basketball.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna unmute it. I'm gonna unmute it right now because Jack, I might need to read a whole lot more of it next season, if you know what I mean. Might have to read a whole lot more of it next season. All right, into the other.
For which one?
For volleyball, might have to pay attention. Might be paying attention. Might be paying attention to volleyball. Because they're going to be chasing a national championship, Jack. Duh.
Yeah, and maybe other stuff too.
And maybe other stuff
other
too.
Sports.
Yeah.
Okay, we get to my first mute. I have one mute in other sports.
Hey, real quick, what is college athletics? What is Husker athletic? Is that like bowling? Do people talk about bowling in the Husker athletics channel? What do people talk about it?
I don't remember who recommended
and I leave
that.
Immediately.
Matt was the one who kind of led this whole thing, so maybe he can speak to that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on over in the Husker Athletics or in the college athletics channel. I have no idea.
Husker Athletics is like AD business. Like I like the Husker Athletics one. That's a good. Okay. I support that.
All right.
I only have one on the other sports. How many do you have?
Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Good
11.
Lord. You are terrible. Let me see if I can guess. Okay. So I can judge because you haven't looked at it. College athletics, which I don't think there's anything in there. But...
Actually, I don't have that one muted for some reason. Maybe it's because I never see it light up with bright white text.
That one I don't. I mean, we talk about like NCAA, like eligibility issues and that sort of thing.
I don't want to hang out with that. No,
I'm sure you have college baseball muted.
Hell yes, I do.
College basketball. I would hope you don't have college basketball muted.
What are you talking about? Why would I need to go in there?
Mute it?
Yeah.
You piece of garbage.
Jack, I got a take that I'm going to drop on people when we get to March about college basketball. Somebody remind me to give a take on college.
Set a reminder. Somebody set a reminder on your phone. That's what I did.
Put it in the I-80 Club calendar, folks, and I will talk about it in March.
If you can get to it. Transfer portal CFP. I assume you have that open, although we've kind of not.
Oh, yeah. Do we have to get rid of that one again? Do we have to move that to
I think I said that maybe just let's not do the transfer and just put in the college football or Nebraska one. College softball, you probably have muted. College volleyball, you definitely have muted. There's 2. High school sports, you have muted for sure. There's 3.
Yeah, screw that.
Major League Baseball, you have muted. Yes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you have NBA unmuted?
I have NBA unmuted, though I rarely read it. Let's see. The most recent I must have opened it recently because there's a comment from yesterday. I very rarely hang out in the NBA channel, but I open it from time to time to see what the folks are talking about, what's going on in the association.
NFL not muted, obviously.
Correct. Yeah.
I don't know. Boxing, there's not anything in there. So
boxing, golf, hockey, motorsports. What am I going to do in any of those things? Yeah. Soccer, gambling talk. No thanks. I'm out on all of that stuff.
You're out on gambling talk? What is wrong with you?
I don't gamble. I don't gamble anymore. I don't know. It's just
Okay. We finally hit my first. What do you think my one muted channel in that whole thing is?
Olympics.
No, I got the Olympics. I like the
I guess
Olympics
no one
one.
ever really posts in there. What do you have muted?
You don't have a guess?
NBA.
No, I got that open, but I kind of wish I had it muted.
Motorsports.
Nobody posts in that, so it's not a concern.
Yeah, because Jack mentioned John couldn't figure out how to get into Discord.
So the way that things
soccer.
Soccer.
Yeah.
Because people actually posted.
People post in there, right? There's
although,
a lot of soccer
I don't know if
on.
they still do or not. I mean, Brendan isn't around here as much, so I don't know. Are other people posting there? I have no idea.
Let's see. Most recent post. Wow, there are a lot of posts. Stumanji. Yep. Stumanji and Brendan were chatting about soccer
Arsenal?
A couple days ago.
Were they talking about Arsenal? Were they talking about the backup striker situation in Arsenal?
I have no idea. I'm just going to skip that channel.
I think they should put in Jones, but that's just me.
All right. Shall we go to the general channel? Which in here I have the majority of the things not muted. I love the general channel. It's a great channel full of many great things.
I have
5 or 6 things muted in here.
I have 2. No, I have 3. No, I have 4.
Wow, look at you. Just a mute machine.
Muted in general.
Yeah. What do you have?
Do you
have video gaming muted?
So I have video game open, but I did mute the Dynasty chat for the NCAA Dynasty that my son just told me he beat Caleb in recently.
Oh, nice.
We have an ongoing I-80 Club NCAA 25 Dynasty. Did you know that?
I had no idea. That's really cool. What a great community that we have built.
Johnny's in it. Caleb's in it. Furls, I think, is in it.
By the way, Husker for M, you just said really leaning towards Crossroads. Yeah, I guess talking about what channels are and aren't muted. Man, I can't wait for the people who are watching this for free on YouTube to be like, okay, never mind. I'm out on the I-80 Club. I promise it's normally a lot more fun than what channels are and aren't muted. I think
it's fun and interesting. I have pro wrestling muted unless we're getting into 1987 to 1990 pro wrestling. I'm in on that. Nothing else. Yeah. Star Wars is muted because that's terrible. And then Word Games is muted because it's like Josh with, I don't know, college softball or something. That's what I feel about Word Games and Star Wars.
Oh, I have Word Games unmuted. I have Star Wars unmuted. I have DIY projects muted. Sorry, Jack. Tough look for you. I have the Jack Mitchell softball experience muted as well. Jack, I apologize.
Do we still have that channel? That's an unnecessary channel.
I have music muted. Much apologies to the music folks out there.
I am very active in the music one.
Yeah, I hang out in the podcasting radio. My favorite channel, for the record, is the radio channel.
Let's all vote for our favorite channel.
Radio. I love hearing people's opinions
about
what is going on
him. Do you love what I'm doing, says Josh.
I like hearing, people rarely talk about, people will talk about unsportsmanlike conduct, but they won't be like, man, I hate Josh. I guess that'd be weird if you were a subscriber and you hated me. I like seeing what people think of other radio shows. It is very interesting to me. I will never chime in. I think I told it to my therapist recently about this. I was like, yeah, there's this, I'm in this Discord thing, and her eyes were glazing over, and so I was trying not to get too far into it.
Yeah, I
was like, I love seeing what people say about coworkers or competitors in the market. And I will never chime in with my opinion on the coworkers or other people in the market. Never. Absolutely never. Because that would get me in trouble. Maybe. I guess if I said something nice about John, hey, John's a good coworker,
I like all the discussion about my radio show in there. That's my favorite.
It happens so much. So many people have opinions about it.
So many thoughts. I like the one time people listened to it and they were like, yeah, that's not for me.
I liked it on Monday when we were like, yeah, I was listening for Schaefer. I listened the other day because I was like, I bet Jack would love it if I listened. I was I bet he would love it if I listened.
Other than, I spend the most time in Husker football and Husker basketball, but I'm trying to think what's next after that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the TV channel is about to be popping with Severance, Jack. When Severance returns next week,
I like Severance.
Jack, do we need to do a post-show pod for Severance? Should we do a post-game pod where we give our thoughts? Like The Ringer, how it's like, hey, welcome into our Severance recap.
What do you think of Helly or whatever did at 20 minutes into the show?
Dude, I rewatched the finale from season 1 again the other night.
That was one of the best. I don't have the experience you do in watching television, and that's embarrassing for me. But that last episode was one of the best things I've ever watched, Josh. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah. It's an incredible episode of TV. Incredible episode
awesome.
of TV. Big fan.
Great.
Big fan. Yeah. After severance ball from Connor. I like that. Wow. D'Lo says I was sweating. God, it was so good.
God, that's hot.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I-formation. The finale was incredible. But then he adds the ... Jack, what is the ...
I love the dot. I heard you guys talking about how olds like I-formation and me.
You don't use ... You don't do that.
I use the hell out of those.
Not with me. You're never like, hey,
but
so here's how like I-formation would use it. I'd be like, hey, I-formation, do you want to grab a beer tomorrow? And he'd be like, sounds good. ... Like, whoa.
I don't end with it
about grabbing a beer.
I don't end with it. I use it as a transition in lieu of.
Yeah, he ends his
comma.
Comments with
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
like,
he ends
I heard
his comments.
I don't remember who accused olds of using ellipsis on this board, but Riss. It was Riss.
Her and I have had many conversations about because my dad does this. My dad
now
ends
I'm
his
very
text
conscious of it. I do like even like last night. I wrote you a long email last night or yesterday.
Yeah,
and I took out 2 ellipses because I had in the back of my head, oh no. Riss accused me of being an old if I use these.
No, we're not. Again, I don't think I don't want to put words in her mouth. I don't think she's critical of you using them. It's the ending of the comment with the ... Again, it just seems
I don't do.
Yeah, that's the old.
That's not the way I use it as a transition. I don't know. I don't quite know how to define how I use it, but
I use it like that. I do that in like what you say or. Wow, it's not called that anymore. In unsportsmanlike content questions, I'll be like something. So what do you think? Like we do that all the time.
Yeah,
do that all the time.
All right, I don't end with them though. That's not me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I do use you know what else I deleted once in an email to you?
What was that?
I use the absolute H out of the Oxford comma.
Dude, as you should. You're a fine American. The Oxford comma is the goat.
Oh, we're for it here? I didn't remember which one made me old, using it or not. The one before the and.
I don't think that using it is an indicator of being old. I think it's an indicator of bad grammar is what I think it is. In my opinion, that's how I've always viewed it.
So you're saying use it or don't use it? I'm so
use
confused.
It. You and I are on the same team with this.
We're on the same team on that? I didn't know that.
Yeah. How about this from Keena? One time I saw a tweet that ended in a ... and I thought, wow, that person is probably the same age as I-formation. And then I looked closer at the tweet and realized it was I-formation. Oh, that's funny.
Okay,
that's funny.
So funny.
Hey, how about this from Bruce? Now, this is when you show your age. When did we move away from using 2 spaces after a period?
Let's freaking go, Bruce.
No.
Me,
I hate
Bruce, I-formation. Let's go. I guarantee you, I-formation agrees with me. Bruce agrees with me. Do we have any other late 70s Gen Xers in here?
I'm going to get a book. Look at this.
Adam still uses 2 spaces.
You ready? Hey, Jack, I want you to check out the periods and the words after them.
Hold on.
2 spaces after the book, Jack?
Just a moment here.
Are there 2 spaces after the book, Jack? Look at that. 1 space.
Hold on.
It's not the 80s anymore, Jack. By the way, that's that Michigan book that I always hold up when I talk about Michigan.
So many. Everything.
By John U. Bacon, baby.
God, the fact that you own that makes me sick.
I've never read it. I've had
Good.
it for a
Burn
decade.
it.
It's about when they hired Jim Harbaugh.
Burn it right now, you coward. No, get a pot out of the kitchen and burn it.
Dude, I love Michigan. Go Blue. I love Michigan.
Don't do this.
Do you know how triggered I am that them beating Ohio State is going to result in Ohio State turning the burners on and winning a national
Nebraska women?
God, that is so upsetting.
Let's go. Amy Williams just upset a top 20 team. Nice job.
Look at that. Nebrasketball Nebraska's a basketball state, baby.
This spot is off the rails in the weirdest possible way. I don't know what else we're supposed to talk about tonight because if we get going down the Nebrasketball road, you don't know what to say, and everybody gets mad.
Okay,
you don't know what to say.
Schaefer was on the show today, and he goes, "Did you watch the game last night?" Yes, I watched the game last night. What are we talking about here?
You openly show disdain for the games. I don't I'm not surprised that he thought that.
What are you talking about? Disdain towards what?
You show open animosity toward watching those games many times
when they were bad.
No wonder.
I am enjoying last night sucked, but I'm enjoying it this year. It's been good. They're good. They're good. Have you heard the new Josh Otson bit where he says they're good, and everyone thinks he's lying because there seems to be a lot of sarcasm in it? Though I do think that he thinks that they're good.
Because last year, what did he do with them? I forgot. What was his
He canceled them.
Year?
He canceled them in like November. Yeah,
he canceled them in November.
Yeah, and then they made the tournament for the first time.
And then they made the tournament. He got a bunch of crap for that. Okay.
Yeah. Riss says, I wasn't home. I can't confirm nor deny if you watched. This is unreal. I did watch for the record. I watched the game. I had it on. I was like, oh, wow. I tweeted about the game last night. I think I said OMG at the shot that forced overtime.
I tweeted about it too. Not very coherently, as you might suspect. Yeah. I believe Kina was featuring some of my tweets on the on the channel today.
Yeah.
Today.
By the way,
if you can find the one you posted today, you can repost it because that was pretty funny. Yeah.
By the way, one of my favorite new things about you is that you created this Discord. You needed a safe space where that was good. Am going punch a hole in the wall. Amazing stuff. That is incredible stuff, Jack. That is really, really good. But Jack, you wanted to create this place, this Discord, and you say it all the time. Whenever you and I have conversations with people, and we talk to people, and we kind of explain the club to them, what do you always say? I wanted to create a non-toxic social media platform. And then the games happen, and where do you go? To Twitter. You go to the land of toxicity. Instead of hanging out in the Husker basketball channel where everyone is saying, fuck the refs over and over and over.
You want me to be... Okay. They were? That's... First of all, I'm a little... Because I thought during some football games we should be saying that too, and then I said it, and then sometimes I am very sensitive. This will surprise you. I am very sensitive. Yeah, I am very sensitive about people not being receptive to my critique of refs. Just anywhere in my life.
I've noticed from time to time.
I very much need. I'll admit it. Okay, I need a safe space when I watch any game with a community of people who are there to affirm my beliefs about the officiating. That's what I want. That's where I want to watch my sports in.
Yes,
okay?
For sure.
So I'm worried about it.
You're like a king, Jack, who I don't know what this king would do to his peasants, but I worry.
Thank you for calling me a king. I appreciate that.
Well, you are the king of Nebraska basketball fans. We need to get you a crown. Heavy is the head that wears the Nebrasketball crown. But if you, there we go. Thank you. Can you put your headphones on over that? Okay. Well, I mean, that'll work. If you were the king and your peasants were out there saying, but Jack, Nebraska actually shot more free throws than Iowa, or whatever that stat ended up being. I wonder how you would respond to these people. Would you cut off their food? Would you say, no food for my peasants? Why aren't you agreeing with me about the officials and what happened last night?
Yeah. I would make people. I mean, what did you expect? Yes, they would be. There would be some kind of a feudalism system, and they would be if they tried to make the case that the officiating cannot impact the outcome of the game because the play was not perfect. They would go to the bottom, the vassals. I believe that is. I'm not sure. I don't remember quite my social studies classes, but they would become the vassals or the peasants or whatever it is. But yeah, you're right.
Now, how about this in D-Lo?
I would do that.
I don't get why Jack only tweets negative stuff about the refs. Nebraska played a great first half and 0 positive tweets. Those boys deserve better. Interesting. Jack, would you like to respond to this critique?
Did I not post anything positive in the first half? I don't remember. I actually don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't reading
when things go well, I get very caught. I mean, good Lord. I almost got driven off Twitter for being too positive during the volleyball semifinals.
People were really mad at you.
People were so mad at me. So, what can I do? This is what it's like being a Twitter celebrity. Elo's like, let's see. All right. What in the world? They're going to file Bryce out. Oh, wow. It's revenge for the Michigan State call.
Well, do you notice the time of this? So he took a screenshot last night during the game. Interesting. He must have posted it in the Husker basketball channel. Wow. Very interesting, Jack.
People don't like when I'm positive. People don't like when I can't win. I can't win.
You can't,
with these people.
That's what it's like being a king, I guess. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody wants this. Everybody wants these jewels. See these?
Mm-hmm.
Right? These things, the purple one, this. orange one. I mean,
yeah, they want
but
those.
they're heavy. They're heavy on my head.
Yeah, they definitely are. I want to ask you a question, but it would step on the toes of the Friday bit that you and Caleb do, where you talk about your current NCAA confidence index. The thing that is obviously, so I won't do that, but I'll say this: the thing that is really shitty about last night is that their projected win total on BartTorvik.com is the exact same as it was yesterday before the game.
Yeah, it's still 21.
It's still 21. And so, like, that's the part that sucks. Is like, it was a game that they weren't supposed to win or that they shouldn't have won. They very much could have won the game. They did not win the game. And so it's like, oh, man, it felt like you had a game in hand. It's like, speaking of the gambling channel, have you ever had a bet where you're like, hell yeah, I'm already counting my winnings. I'm going to use that to go have wings someplace. And you're like really, really excited. And then you lose and it's like, damn it, I don't have wing money anymore.
Yeah.
So that's a huge bummer.
No, yeah. It looked like it was going to be a very fun night. I mean, Josh, it was the classic you should be with me night, right?
I was wondering if it was.
Know, I don't say that anymore because you reminded me that I've said that. We should search every time I've said that in what game. Maybe for your coming project, we could do that. That would be amazing.
Jack,
actually.
That's a great idea. For every game that is in the project, I will look this up.
When I've said you should be with me right now.
Yes, I will look that up when we do this.
D'Lo, that picture literally just made me shudder. That dude,
for some reason, it's not loading for me. What is it?
Probably your internet, I would say.
Hey, I'm gonna restart Discord. That's annoying.
That dude took something at halftime. You know what's wild? His younger brother who plays for the team too. Price plays for the team now too.
Oh wow, that's an interesting picture.
Yeah, but Johnny and he were at the Creighton basketball team camp, and his walkie team were there, and they played each other. So Johnny was there, and the older one was in the crowd wearing his Iowa golf hat and like cheering super loud. And I was like, that dude is annoying. Who is that? Well, it was Peyton Sanford. Like, that's the dude. Like, he's annoyed me in a basketball game and as a fan of a basketball game, both. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like
twofer.
That was, right. So like, this would have been like summer 2022.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that game sucks. That was bad. That was a bummer. Yeah. I'm sad for all the diehards out there.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's my take.
It was very sad. And then after Bryce hit that freaking 3, I was like, oh, they're going to murder him in overtime. I really thought that. I was like, they're going to murder him. Like, everything went so terribly. Was it a 9-0
run to start overtime for Iowa? 9-0 or something like that? Because the announcers kept saying that Nebraska still hasn't scored, folks. And it's just like, awesome, depressing. Dude, and then I love that you're like, come watch my stupid post-game show.
I didn't want to. I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest. When they lose, I don't want to freaking do it. I'm in a terrible mood. All I'm going to do is say negative, bad, annoying things to people. And so that's why I started the show like I did last night. Thank God Caleb was there to just rescue me.
Yeah.
And not have me sit there because I would have went berserk on the refs.
Did Bigelow rescue you, or is it just Caleb?
Well, Bigelow was there right away too. That's right. Both of them. I forgot whether it was a game Bigelow was there right away. Yeah, they both did.
Yeah.
So I spoke in the first 10 minutes of that pod. I spoke for like 30 seconds, which was exactly what we needed.
A new record.
And then by the end, I was in a good mood.
Yeah. It's the opposite of the football pods that we do, because when we do post-game shows for football games, it is usually many hours later. So you've had a chance to kind of calm down, to not have to live in it very much. And then we hey, let's remind everybody. Matt points it out, though, all the viewers that we had, the people need it. Yeah. Dude, this thing people are really digging it, it seems like.
We had multiple people say like the same thing I said, where they're like, I felt better after that with that. Thanks for doing that. So
yeah,
it went good. But huge thanks to Bigelow and Caleb, because they carried me. I didn't have anything intelligent or helpful or fun or entertaining to say last night.
Yeah, well.
Except I said shit right at the beginning. So
which was fun.
Which was probably some families who were taking their kids to school this morning, and they were like, wow, look at this garbage that we've.
Adam, historically speaking, maybe a post-game show for Nebrasketball isn't a good idea if you don't like doing it after they lose. LOL.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point, Adam.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a fair point. I think I suggested at one point a post-game show, but only for wins. Like I legitimately have suggested that. So
yeah. And that's, what's great about that idea, Jack, is there are some fans that are like, thank you. That's only when I want to hear it. And then there are other fans that are like, hell no, I want to be on for the losses. I want to commiserate with you and be miserable. And then there are people who just want it no matter what.
Yeah, it was like we got a really good crowd for the UCLA one. I was like, man, they got to win for us to get a good crowd. But I think people were so pissed off after that game, the Iowa game. They wanted to hear. Yeah. You know what's funny? Like, but it's crazy.
Nebrasketball, it's not for everyone. Definitely.
Like after we did that UCLA game, it was funny. We did the whole post game, and I was like, God, I wish there was another post game I could listen to. It's like there's not enough content.
Yeah,
this is why
we do it.
This is why our freaking post game works. I don't really have to even be good. There's just not. Unlike football, there's none of this out there. And I've wanted it forever. Like I could listen. I wish Kent and Jake went for another half hour. They don't, but I would. So it's not difficult. I just turn on the camera and I'm like, Caleb, say some basketball things. And
Connor says this is a wins only show. See, that's good. If Nebraska football, hey, let's put a pin in that comment. And if Nebraska football actually is solid next year, that's what we could start saying. This is a wins only show because they're now 7-0, baby, and we only are talking about wins. But they'll probably shit on themselves, and we won't only talk about wins.
I have seriously had that concept in my mind for a long time. A basketball postgame show only for wins.
Yeah. And then, especially, wasn't that the idea when you did the 2018-19 season? You're like, finally, we're going to do a postgame show. And then everyone got hurt, and the season went to hell. Oh, yeah. You were like, why did I agree?
It was so brutal. It was so freaking brutal. Also, not only did we start a postgame show that year, that was the year that I invested in tickets to the conference tournament as a Christmas gift for my son. 2 weeks after I give it to him, what's his name gets tears up his knee, and it was.
Hey, at least you had fun memories in there. You were like, no, don't fire Tim, and everyone's like, Hoiberg, and they're winning games, and you're making memories with your son. And now look, Jack, Fred Hoiberg is here all these years later, and you were wrong. So like that's awesome. It's really, really cool that Fred's doing a great job.
I was wrong. I mean, I think I was right and I was wrong. I was because my argument was, hey, this is going to take them for freaking ever to get Copeland, by the way, was the person I was trying to say. It's going to take them forever. It's going to be a long rebuild, and I don't have the patience for a long rebuild. And it was a long rebuild, and I didn't have the patience for it.
But now, look, you've come out on the other side. It's like Andy Dufresne and Shawshank. You've crawled through the miles of shit-smelling foulness.
I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm here to the promised land of
Mick Cronin.
I'm triggering Mick Cronin. I heard you guys segment on that. That was really funny today, by the way.
Yeah, he's in a rough one. He's in a rough mood these days, old Mick. Old Mickey fun. Mick. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the promised land now of up 15 against Iowa and losing. This is what we've been waiting for, right? Like this is the whole thing.
Yeah. Biff says we're still in the shit until the tournament wins happen. Yeah, I guess they're still crawling through the through 5 football fields of shit-smelling foulness.
Dave always has the update on how under 500 Fred Hoiberg is.
Insane.
That's actually better than I thought it was going to be.
Because what was, Dave, you would know, what was it at its lowest moment?
Damn, 39.
What was it at its lowest
39
moment?
Under 500 in conference? That's crazy.
It's nuts.
Like he could be awesome for another 5 years and he won't get to 500.
I remember, and I'm going to look this up now, when my wife and I, when we lived down in Blackstone and we were going to go out for our anniversary, and Nebraska, I'm pretty sure, was playing Penn State the night of our anniversary. And I was like, well, it can be on before we actually go. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, it was the Big Ten tournament game on our anniversary in 2021. And they lost to Penn State 72-66. And it was just like, so that year they finished 3-16 in the regular season, and then they lost that. So they went 3-19 in conference play. Here it is. Dave says they were 43 games under was the low point. End of 2021-22 and into 22-23. That is disgusting. 43 games.
That's not conference. That's regular, right?
Oh, that's right. I thought that was conference. I guess
I'm not sure.
Right. That has to be regular. He can't be 43 games. Biff says he's been on a heater ever since. He really has, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Riss, that doesn't feel mathematically possible. I think Dirk wrote about it. The first time that somebody really started writing about it was Dirk, and I had the same reaction of like, wait a second. That can't be true. They can't be that bad. Sure enough, they were.
You know what? You know how everybody's interested in the Scott Frost story?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
You know what like a mini junior version of that is?
The Fred Hoiberg story?
Fred Hoiberg and Matt Abdelmassih story.
Okay. I don't think we've ever had this topic before in the pod. Do you remember, it would have been the year that we lived in Blackstone, because I remember talking about it with people. That year, the 2020-2021 season, do you remember there was a rumored huge story about Nebraska that was going to come out in USA Today, and that was Abdelmassih, right? Okay, yeah. Remember that?
And then there was like he took a health leave, and remember that?
Yep. That was very odd.
What happened with all of that?
Very strange. Yeah, nothing ended up coming out.
One
Right?
of the players' parents. There was one of the players' parents that I heard some.
That's what
about.
it was. It was like an NIL deal that was promised, and he never was able to.
Yes,
it
was some
or something.
I could never think of the player. It was a guy who never played. I could never think of the guy who they were talking about, though.
Yeah.
It
wasn't Bryce, was it? Wasn't it McGowan?
No. Oh. I mean, the thing I'm thinking of was there was something with I followed the parent on Twitter, I remember.
Oh.
Like there was something with that.
Yeah, do we want to read Biff's comment? Like, this will be a public podcast. I don't know if we can read what he said there. I mean, it's so long ago, right? Like, nobody cares. Let's just put allegedly.
Well, you said it was an NIL thing. I mean, that's what you would have. That's exactly.
Allegedly, he was promising players money and not giving it to them after they got on campus. Yeah, so there was money. I guess NIL would not have been legal.
NIL wouldn't have been a thing, though.
It wouldn't have been legal. It didn't come legal until July of 2021. So, DZ, I'm sure Biggs knows. Yeah. Oh,
that's true.
It does. Yep. Yeah, Bruce, the USA Today rumor made its way throughout the fan base. Yeah, that was I had many conversations with many people.
I totally forgot. Like, this is coming out today, remember?
Yeah, everyone was like, everyone was ready for it. And
it never did.
Yep. Everyone was ready for a while. But yeah, nothing ever came out.
When did things I mean, listen, I know everybody's interested in Frost, but whatever bottomed out there and then somewhat quickly when you had arguably the best recruit in your team's history, and he still kind of proved it in the NBA for the most part. Like, it's crazy. Like, that little V-shaped situation there is wild.
Yeah, in a way, like, whenever I think about what's happened with Nebraska the last, last season, of course, the end of the season before that, and then what they've done so far this year, I am kind of reminded, like, oh, yeah, Fred, was considered this really great coach. And so in a way, it's not surprising. The surprising part about his era and his regime so far, I guess, is how was it so bad? I mean, because it wasn't just, we have watched, Jack, many years of Nebraska basketball where it's they're bad. That was all-time horrific garbage.
It was weirdly painful the way that they would lose.
It was gross.
It's probably because you had Bryce and you had high expectations, but But those games were so gross. That was about as low. Man, that was bad.
Because who was the basketball player that played at 5 schools that was on that team too? The kid from
Cam Mack or Verge or
no, the one who was at Wichita State for a day. That guy. He was at a bunch of different schools. Someone's about to say his name in the chat.
Well, there's a billion transfers.
But there was the one in particular who was a super guy shot the ball all the damn time. But he went to a bunch of different schools. And he was Teddy Allen. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, Teddy Allen.
Remember Teddy Allen?
Right, Teddy,
wasn't he on one of the?
But he wasn't with Bryce. He wasn't with Bryce.
He wasn't on the McGowan's team. I thought he was. Was he on the team that preceded the McGowan's team? Is that where I'm? Was he on the second? Because I think McGowan's was on the third Hoiberg team, if I remember right. So I think that means that. No, I guess McGowan's probably would have been on the second team. Maybe Teddy was on the third Fred Hoiberg team. I think he might have been on the 21-22 team.
And then he was out, and then he left, and they started winning a couple of games. But he tied the scoring record, right? Remember that?
He did. Let's see. I forgot about that.
So 21-22 had Verge and Trey and Bryce McGowan's. Did you know Casey Tominaga was on that team with Bryce McGowan's and Trey McGowan's and CJ Wilcher, who had his best year as a freshman? And Alonzo Verge,
Wow.
That team could have been arguably Breidenbach, Eduardo Andre, who plays for West Virginia now, and he's good.
Wow. That's a name that I've not thought of in many years.
Like, that's wild. Like, that team could have been okay. Let's see. Teddy Allen. There he is. He was 2021.
Okay.
With Trey, Shamil Stevenson, Kobe Webster,
So that means Bryce was on the next team then. Bryce must have
Derek
been on the
Walker. It was the year
team.
he was there the year before Bryce. Yes.
Okay. Matt says, "Okay, can we talk about football at all?" Adam gives it the pointing up emoji.
Sure.
Jack, we've not talked. I feel like
what do we talk about?
So you and I haven't. I don't think we've talked about the bowl game at all, which is now so far in the rear view. I don't know if anybody cares anymore. We have barely
talked about it.
Did we talk about the bowl game
on Saturday? We got to it for the and I had the thing. We talked about it a decent amount. You got a little mad at me because I was critical of Dylan Raiola.
No, I wasn't critical. Oh, I just was. I guess I kind of was.
Or was that on your radio show?
Yeah,
I was on your radio show.
Yeah,
that was on your radio show.
The whole running, like everyone's weirdly critical.
I thought,
of him,
I didn't like the popping up and trying to fight the guy after the slide.
I thought that was fine.
And I thought the celebrating by himself in the end zone area with the fans was really weird.
Yeah.
So I said that on your that was again, I forget when I tell you these things, but
yeah, we talk a lot these days. And by the way, if you like Jack and I, he's joining me on Sportsman Conduct on Friday, so you'll get 4 hours of us, and then we'll do the coffee show on Saturday. So Matt says playoffs the next 2 days. I guess we could talk about playoffs. I don't know what football thing is. Let me ask you this, Jack. What's the football thing that's interesting you right now? Nebraska or not Nebraska? Whatever you want to go with. What's the thing that you're like, oh man, like I listened to the KOTN preview of Penn State Notre Dame today, and I was getting pretty hyped for that matchup. I don't think I've ever said hype before like that, but I'm getting pretty interested in this game, man. Like
getting hype.
I think it's gonna be low scoring and ugly as hell, but I think it's gonna be awesome.
That's a good question. What am I in? I'm probably more interested right in them. Not that I have a lot to say about it, but I'm excited to watch the playoff games. Like, I'm really excited. There's games on Thursday, and they're not on a damn Monday. That's amazing too.
Well, that's the national championship game. That's
they'll still make sure and get that on a Monday no matter what.
How about the fact, Jack, that's inauguration and MLK Jr. Day too? That's going to be quite the national championship Monday.
Good.
And maybe you're going to fill in on the Grum. You might be doing all sorts of stuff that day.
Yeah, I'm glad there's football on to distract us. So not from MLK Jr. Day. Observe that.
Yeah, wow, interesting, Jack. Wow. Very, very interesting. Very interesting.
I don't know. Like, it feels like there hasn't been enough football-wise to. I mean, we can talk about this weird Alabama guy situation, but I got not much to say about that. I mean.
Has the playoff been everything you were hoping it would be? Given that, because I was thinking about that.
It has. Josh,
yeah,
I like everybody.
Even though most of the games have sucked.
Yeah, but it feels like all the commentators are first round. They were bitching about who shouldn't have, about teams getting in that shouldn't have, and they got blew out. But like my takeaway after that first weekend was like, that was freaking sweet just to have those home games. And to have them on the weekend before Christmas and awesome. Like have 4 games and like to have them to watch. I don't even care that they weren't good games. And then the same thing with the next round too. I mean, that Texas-Arizona State game then was
awesome. Like
one of the best football games I've ever watched. I don't think we're starting to get away from recency on it. It was great. Mm-hmm. It was freaking awesome.
Yeah. Adam says, oh, sorry.
Oh, and then I was just going to say, not that I wanted the Georgia-Notre Dame game to be postponed for the reasons that it was, but in the end, I was annoyed that it was going to be that time, but I actually like really watched it and really had fun with, and there was nothing else going on when that was on. Like that was super compelling to me too. So I've loved it. I'm really excited about this playoff. I love it's a huge improvement from a fan perspective for the postseason. I can't even get worked up about seedings or reseeding or who made it or who did. I'm just like, I'm that excited that there are games on at the times that there are games on between good teams. That's where I am.
Yeah. Adam says the talking heads have tried their best to ruin it, but it's been fun AF.
That's exactly how I feel. Exactly.
I was texting a little bit with Happer yesterday because I don't know if you saw Kirk Herbstreit went on with Ari Wasserman and Andy Staples on their podcast. And like the weird thing that kind of broke Contain out of it originally was that he doesn't run his Twitter account. His son does, which is total BS.
I don't believe that.
So I download that pod. I don't listen to it all the time. It's mainly if I want college football content and I've kind of blown through everything else. I'm like, I'll check out what's going on. But I was like, you know what? I want to save this interview to listen to because Kirk has annoyed the shit out of me this playoff. I feel like he has become, dude, I don't think he likes college football anymore, which if you don't like it, get out of the sport.
Prime Thursday nights ruin him. I knew it.
Dude,
all those freaking Cardinals game. It's like a drug. It's like a freaking drug.
Once you go Arizona Cardinals,
dude, once you see James Conner, it's like, I don't want any. It's done.
So
it's done.
I listened to him because I was like, I want to hear what he has to say because obviously the question is going to be asked about like, hey, why were you being such a freakazoid about the Indiana game? And I assume you haven't listened to the interview. He was so disingenuous. He was like, I never brought up the SEC. Everyone was like, you want the SEC to get in. I never brought up the SEC. Who? He was like, I didn't say it should have been Alabama. I shouldn't have said it should have been Ole Miss. I should have. And then he's like creating this weird straw man of like, you know, what if there's a year where Nebraska's 10-2 or Illinois is 10-2? Maybe even though they have more losses, maybe they should get in over Indiana. I'm like, what are you talking about? That wasn't the scenario. The scenario is the scenario that we got. What are you arguing for? And it was just incredibly disingenuous because it's obvious that morning when he was complaining about it that he wanted one of those other teams, Bama, Ole Miss, Miami, whomever it is in the playoff. And it's like, but they kept saying, oh, there wasn't other candidates though. And I wasn't saying that. And just, again, if you don't like college football, like that's fine. That's your prerogative. I don't like that somebody who doesn't like the sport covers it. Like the people who cover the NFL, Jack, seem to like love the NFL and to talk about it. And it's too like that's one of the things that I love about KOTN is like Doug loves college football, and you can hear that in his voice. And I hope that when people listen to us, that you hear that we love college football or talking about Nebraska football. And man, it just I've kind of been wanting to talk and rant about Kirk over the last few weeks because I think that the guy has fallen so far off from where he was at one point. I thought he was like one of the best analysts in sports. And again, I don't even think he likes college football anymore. It's really annoying.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, God, so much of it has just been the freaking hot takes on the playoff and like who got in, who didn't. I mean, like, man, I didn't even focus. I don't think it's perfect. Like, I think the biggest problem wasn't who got in and who didn't. I think it is the automatic buys for the conference champions. Like, that's the biggest problem to me. But still, even despite that, I don't know. It was still great. I still loved it. It worked out good. It's a pretty good number. Like, I mean, all of these critiques about how college football has done their postseason terribly, I think they're kind of close to being about right now.
They're very close.
To be honest.
Just
I think there's some tweaks. Like that's the biggest one for me would be not have the conference champions get the automatic buys. Okay.
100%.
And I would still get rid of conference championship games if it were me. I know that's not going to happen, but
the issue is with conference championship games, the conferences are so big, and so you'd have all these tiebreakers. If we had smaller conferences, you could get rid of conference championship games.
But like this kind of number, I kind of like. I love the timing of it. Right before Christmas. And then this is the most effing depressing time of the year, Josh. Do you know how nice it is to know that we've got college football Thursday and Friday?
Yeah, the next 2 nights we have college football playoff games. Then we have 3 days of NFL playoff games. And it's like, it just kind of extends it. And then by the time it ends, you know, like one of the things that I've like really enjoyed over the last decade of sports, or maybe 20 years now, is that the Super Bowl, well, no, it's ever since they added the extra game. The Super Bowl is like mid-February, and some people are like, that's stupid. I like it when it was in January. I'm like, sign me up because when it ends, it's almost March.
100. Dude, 3 days after
the weeks, Jack. Chop them off.
Dude, you know what happens 3 days after the Super Bowl? Pitchers and catchers report.
And that too, I guess.
Dude, it just cuts out. It's great.
Chop off the weeks, man. You always say chop
Nebraska
them off.
Super Bowl's played on Sunday. Nebraska baseball's first game is that Friday.
Yeah. Wow,
yeah.
That's
I
nuts.
love it. I love that.
Yeah. I'll still have the baseball channel muted, but that's really cool for all of you.
Super Bowl going later. College football going later. Listen. I glad the players are getting paid now for that reason, but Yeah, I love it. I am so freaking psyched that there is a game on tomorrow, because in any other year, it would be like, oh shit, it's a first Thursday night after the NFL season. This is so depressing. And the NFL did the same thing, and they expanded that first week, and they put it on Saturday. Well, they've been on Saturday for a while, but they did Saturday, Sunday, Monday, right? And that was great. That's great too. So we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, in arguably the best 5-day stretch of football in history
that we've ever had. This is gonna be badass, man. It's gonna be so much freaking fun. Yeah. And then I know you don't like the Monday night championship game, but I
freaking hate that.
It's like now it's gonna come off the divisional round, so we're gonna have 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday, natty Monday night.
Yeah, and put it on Thursday. Yeah, or Friday. Put it on Friday night before.
Well, yeah, they'll never do that because of the ratings, but I understand what you mean. That'd be pretty fun.
That'd be great.
Go into the weekend.
That's wild that Monday night is going to have that much better ratings than they would Friday night.
Yeah, just because
Friday night would be so fun.
Yeah, but we're old heads, and we like going to sleep, and we like being at home and not going out and seeing people.
Well, that's why Friday would have better ratings.
I know, but they're trying to get the youngs who are like, oh, let's go to the bar, beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's our
Let's
impression
watch
of young
the
people.
football late on a Monday night because we're young.
Watch Monday Raw on Mondays.
We'll sleep in, dog.
Dude, sleeping in, I don't even know what that's like. I can't even imagine.
Don't. Stop.
What?
You can't talk to me about this.
No, I can talk about it too.
No, I win this topic. I'm the winner.
Oh,
I have the I mean, no, like you just can't. Like I can't. Okay, Josh. As an example, I can't be like, oh man, I ran around the block the other day. It sucked. I'm so tired. Running sucks. It's so hard.
But I don't ever say any of those things. I don't ever say
it. I know, but I'm just saying, like, if I were trying to come to you and be like, man, it sucked for me, and I want you to feel sympathy for me, right?
Biff always gets so triggered when I talk about being tired. No kids in an afternoon job. F out of here with my I can't sleep intake.
Let's go.
Do you know what time I'm waking up, man? I'm not.
For what? For what? Sleep in for a day.
I can't. I can't sleep.
For what?
Because my body clock.
Then it doesn't matter. Then it doesn't freaking matter. Why does it matter?
I wake up.
If you wake up and you're not tired, everything worked great.
But I'm still
That's the
tired.
perfect experience.
I lay in bed. I can't go back to sleep.
That is literally the dream experience of waking up that I've never effing experienced.
What? Dude, just waking up?
Waking up when you want to?
I don't.
You experience that, and you're complaining about that?
I control it because I got to get my runs in along with my working. Yeah.
Wow.
I wake up. I remember when I filled in for Happer this summer, Gary was like, oh, man, I bet you woke up so early today. I was like, I got up at 6. He's like, that's so early for you. I was like, no, I get up at 6 all the time. I get up early all the time because I have to build my schedule around a very particular, I got to get my work done. I got to get my runs in, and I got to go to the station. I know I'm on in the afternoon, but I'm waking up early. I don't sleep in. Now, when I was in my mid-20s, Jack, yes, I would sleep in until almost 10 o'clock on work days. I don't do that anymore. Those days are over.
My point remains.
Wow. You are so triggered by this. I'm sorry that you have a morning show.
A little bit.
Jack, morning is the best real estate in radio. You should be honored to be on in the morning. It says that your bosses view you as the best.
Don't. Please don't.
They do. Your bosses appreciate you. Meanwhile, I'm just an afternoon schlub.
You're no McMaster, that's for sure. You're no McMaster.
How about that? How about the guy 22 years old doing a 6 a.m. radio show? His body clock is going to be destroyed. This poor kid. Absolutely. They're murdering his body clock for the rest of the time.
How old do you think I was when I started my job? In the morning.
29.
I don't even know how old I was. 2006. Okay. Yeah, 29. 29.
How long have you been on in the morning?
29. I started when I was 29.
See? And you ruin your body clock forever. Meanwhile, if I got a morning show tomorrow, I feel like I've primed the pump for it. I would embrace it. If my boss has said, Josh, we want to move you to the morning, I'd say, I would like a raise. And then I would say,
yeah,
what are we doing?
I did too in 2006. I said,
you said I want a raise.
So, no, I mean, no, didn't get paid jack, but I wanted to, the morning sounded fine. I was like, oh, I can do that. Yeah. And I could, and I did for a while. Now I don't want to anymore.
Now you're tired. Now you're tired. Now
I'm not saying no. And again, just for the record, I'm not saying no one else is tired. I'm not saying anything else. All I'm saying is your argument was like, I wake up when I want to. I'm just not tired, and I'm just like, well, that's like the dream, right?
No, I am tired. I wake up and I am tired.
Why don't you sleep then?
Because I have to get to work. I have to start preparing for my show. I get up and I work.
I misunderstood you then, but
yeah, I know.
I thought you were
trying to explain it to you, and you were just ignoring me. I wake up at that time.
No, you said it. You said it in a very difficult way to understand. That's
I definitely did not. I think you were the one making it difficult. Bruce, Josh, you don't show up at 1:45 with no prep, just random. Yeah, Jack, you sound like a listener who doesn't understand the amount of effort it requires to do a radio show. I expected more from you. I'll be honest. I expected more from you.
You start at 2 p.m. You have a 4-hour day.
Yeah, that'd be pretty tight.
Jack, are you done at 9 o'clock? Do you go? Well, kind of. I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, when you're, dude, on a Friday, you essentially have a 3-day weekend. You're done at 9 on a Friday. You have a 3-day weekend. That feels like a 3-day weekend. I would love to be done with work at 9 a.m. on a Friday. I don't care if I wake up
any
early.
day. Don't say 3 day. Any day you wake up before 5 a.m. is not it's part of a 3-day weekend.
You're done at 9.
That's insane.
Day.
That's insane. That's an insane thing to say.
I'd be like, I'm getting breakfast and I'm gonna go hang out on my bed. I'd read a book all day long. If I had a Friday where I was done at work at 9, I'd read a book all day long. Be great. I'd read this Michigan book by John U. Bacon. I would have read this book if I had a morning show. Instead, it's still sitting on my unread bookshelf. Adam says, bad take, Josh. Hell no. This is my finest take. I've had this conversation with other morning hosts, and I've said, man, it kind of feels like a 3-day weekend. And you know what one of them said? He was like, yeah, it kind of does. Because then he's like,
who was it?
I'm not going to say. He's like, yeah, then I'll go. You know what he says? I want to
fight him.
He goes, yeah, then I go play golf. And I'm like, yep, because it's the weekend. What do you mean? Don't you roll your eyes? It's the weekend.
Go play golf. I want to fight him. Morning show host fight. Let's go. I'll probably win.
Thank you. My wife is defending me in the chat. I very much appreciate it. She didn't have to do that. Josh's 4-hour workday is really 10 hours at least every day.
My wife is not defending me.
Play-by-play prep.
She's upstairs reading probably that Michigan book. I don't know.
Yeah, today
you guys and all your reading. Everyone is freaking around me. Oh, read.
I started working 15 hours ago. I'm very much ready to say goodnight and go open up a brand new book and then go to sleep.
Like I said.
You know what? You know what I have to do though, Jack? I have to prep for our show on Friday. I have to watch Straight Outta Compton still. Have you not finished it?
I watched a little more today. God.
You must hate this movie.
I haven't. I'm not going to ruin your show. I'm not going to do this now. I have a huge problem with this movie.
Yeah, you sound like Nick Grimm. I can't wait to hear you two just push up your glasses over and over and over about how it was problematic or it wasn't true to the era or whatever you're going to say.
Well,
that's what Nick says about every movie.
One of those two things you said. One of those two things you said, you can figure out which one. Of those two things you said, you can absolutely figure out which one I would say.
Yes. I cannot. I don't think you've ever said that's problematic. So
nothing is problematic. Everything is workable.
Oh, wow. Matt said, what movie? I started typing Straight Outta Compton, but I almost wrote Straight Outta Problematic. So
Straight Outta Problematic. Straight Outta Problematic. Crazy mother effer named Ice Cube.
Matt, and Jack hates it. Yeah, and Jack chose this movie. I feel like this is either going to be a great complaint or it's going to be the dumbest shit ever.
Listen on Friday, and I will tell you, Jack hates everything. That's not true.
You do hate movies. To be fair, you do hate movies.
I don't hate movies for the reason I hate this one. I hate movies because I can't concentrate on them.
Yeah. Are you? How is the concentrating going with this?
Bad. I mean,
how much do you have left?
Oh, I'm maybe halfway. Well, let's see what just happened.
Spoiler alert! I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, okay. Well, then you won't understand. The FBI just got involved with
spoiler alert.
It's not going to ruin anything. I mean, this was real life. This happened.
I don't know much about NWA. I don't know.
Yeah, see, I knew all the stuff about him too. So
I bet I'm going to love it. I'm like, wow, what an interesting story. What a really interesting story.
I'll be really interested to see what you think of it.
Yeah, I know a few of their songs.
Because I am going to have a tertiary critique that is just everyone's going to be annoyed. I'll annoy everyone with mine.
Well, Nick annoys people every week when we do movie club, so I look forward to you annoying people too. This is going to be a lovely.
Mine is going to be so tertiary and so annoying and so ridiculously detailed. It's going to be it's gonna be rough. So
yeah.
So
all right. Well, that was the pod. Jack, this was like
that's
an old
it?
school pod.
That's it?
What do you mean that's it? We've been on for an hour. What do you mean that's
I
it?
thought we had a lot more to do. We haven't even gotten into any sports hardly.
Well, we talked Nebraska basketball for like a half hour.
Yeah.
You were critical of me. Everyone's critical of me not wanting to ever talk about Nebraska basketball. Meanwhile, here I am. I give you opinions. I tell you things that I thought happened on the basketball floor. Bad calls by the refs. Also, they couldn't make free throws. Both of the things happened.
Matt says, I tried to get you to talk football.
Yeah, we talked football for a few minutes. That was fun.
I mean, we got 4 minutes left. Is there anything going on in Husker football world? Like,
I mean, they're adding players, you know. I'm with you right
but
now.
all of them, we already knew about most of them a while ago, you know, like, yeah, you're right, the Alabama guy, but in the problematic things with that, but like.
Oh, you just said problematic. Oh my God, he admitted.
He admitted.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. What's the interesting story with football?
So, like, they're getting a new special teams coach. Oh, I got one.
Should it be Bill Bush? Should it be Mike Ekeler?
No, it shouldn't be Mike Ekeler. Absolutely not. I'm gonna have my first ever assistant coach that I'm critical of from the start, and you are gonna love it.
If it's Ekeler?
Yeah.
Why?
First of all, he's one of my most hated players of all time. We discussed this before I even knew they might hire him.
Nice.
We just went through on that Saturday when we went through. I listed my most hated players from every team. I mentioned him, Travis Oaks, and Michael Bishop from Kansas
did. That's
State.
true. You did bring him up the other day, which that was a fun discussion. And check out the breakout video, youtube.com/@I80club. Wow, Matt, Jack just wants to be right. Sad. Wow, you are
about what?
You are who you were critical of all football.
I don't even know what. I honestly don't even know what that is in reference.
Mike Ekeler. You want him to suck so you can be right. I am seeing this too.
I'm going to cheer against Nebraska all next year.
Classic.
I'm going to be like, punt, block this punt, block this punt.
Classic.
I mean, I already can predict block punts, so you know.
That's true. That's true. So why else don't you want Ekeler? Is there some audio tape to it all? Is there? Is the era?
Yes,
of
not what you're saying.
From? The era of which he came from.
This. I think I've told this story. Is it maybe in a boardroom or somewhere? But
I don't know what this. I don't remember this story. Then you don't have to tell it if you don't want to.
Well, it's not that. I mean, it's like that. Not that. Oh, so I'll tell it. Like I'll tell it. Like
tell it.
Do people know? Like he was from Nebraska. Was he from David City, I believe, and didn't get recruited to Nebraska in the glory years.
Yep, went to Kansas State.
Real
quick, did he have a scholarship to Kansas State, or was he a walk-on?
That's a good question. I actually don't know that. Yeah. I would suspect maybe he's a good look, Connor. I assume he was a walk-on, but I don't know. He was a special teams player, so I think he maybe was. He was primarily a special teams player, but it was right in the era of the movie The Program. You seen that movie?
No.
Wow, we should have done the program for this.
You wanted to do Straight Outta Compton.
Wow, I assumed everyone has
heard about it. I've not seen this. I've heard about this.
Okay, well, everyone but you is going to know what I'm talking about. But he was like, he tried to be Latimer from The Program. Yeah, basically. Because it was like the exact same time. Painting his face completely black.
I've seen hey, speaking of problematic, Mike Ekeler's face paint.
I don't think of that. Listen, I'm not saying that. I don't think it had anything to. That was what Latimer did. It was about looking scary, right? Do you remember that? Side note: you remember that Texas Tech player who got a professional makeup job?
Did he do stuff with his hair too?
Like a professional skull, done on his face.
Yeah, that guy was a freak.
Oh, I hated that guy. Yeah. But he would paint up his face black and so in 1994, I went to the game in Manhattan with my friends. Funnily enough, if you watch the 1994 end of the year video, I'm on it. They have Damon Benning stretching and talking to the camera, and the next shot is me in the stands.
2 future morning radio hosts.
Who would have known? Who would have known? Morning radio. The morning radio shows, like you said, biggest stars. Anyway, and Ekeler comes out and he hated Nebraska. He was bitter. He hated them, hated Nebraska. And he comes out of the tunnel in that 94 game and he runs, we're in this section of fans in Manhattan, and he runs up with his face completely painted black. and there's like a Kansans for Nebraska sign right in front of where we're sitting in the corner. And he like comes over and he takes that, he runs to the sign. He goes, yeah, like rips it down and like, like to the entire crowd. And here's me in 1994. And I'm like a junior in high school. And of course, you can imagine what I was doing in response to that.
You're probably
when
freak.
He did that. I mean, I'm just like yelling at it. I mean, like I'm probably, you know, acting like I'm going to go down and fight him. And he did that. And so then so he's special teams player. He's on the kickoff team. He had all these big highlights that year. Like he had done a bunch of stuff. He's on the kickoff team and they kick it off. I think Damon returned the kick. I could be wrong. Nice. Go watch that game. But so they kick off to us. Kansas State kicks off. Nebraska returns right in the end zone we're sitting in, where he just like ripped down that sign. And on the kickoff, it was returnable for Damon or Clinton Childs or whoever it was at the time. And like they make a little bit of a cutback. And I don't remember which Makovica it was, but it would have been a penalized blindside block during that game on Ekeler right in front of us and just lay his ass out right in front of us. One of the two Makovicas during that game. And it was like close enough that people could yell at him and taunt him and all that stuff. It was amazing. It was an amazing moment. So fast forward, Bishop and I are doing our show. We had during the Bo Pelini era, this is a long, funny story too. We had Thursday interviews with assistant coaches that John and I by ourselves got to do individually with assistant coaches away from the media scrum. It was because of a deal that was cut between Andy Ruback and Tom Osborne in exchange for putting the Women's College World Series on the radio on KLIN. Yeah, that's all true. Ask John about it tomorrow. Anyhow, so John and I got to
ask him about this.
So John and I got to go every Thursday and sit down with Barney Cotton or Ron Brown or Kaczynski, right? Or Ross Ells or whomever. Like we had an individual one-on-one that we then played on our Friday Husker tailgate. We had Ekeler one day, or we had Carl, we had Beck, we had all those guys. So we had Ekeler, and I brought up that game to him. I was like, hey, this is kind of a funny story, right? Hey, here's a funny story. And I told him basically the story without him making him sound like an ass or getting decleated by a Makovica. And so like, this is for the radio and recording the whole thing. And he was like, I don't want to talk about that part of my life. Dude, oh yeah, somebody got a picture. Yeah, there it is. Me. Yeah, that's what it was. Like, and he was like, I don't want to talk about the picture. There were some things going on. And I was like, oh, I thought this was going to be like a fun, I thought it was going to be a fun conversation. And it was like,
try to get him as a guest on the I-80.
It was like you could hear a damn pin drop in there.
Oh, yikes.
And I was like, so yeah, that's my story.
That is an all-time.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
That's funny.
But he was
and
like,
that's Latimer. The I-80 club.
He was like, Latimer, starting defense, place at the table. I don't believe you don't. God. All right.
Sorry.
Next, are we doing another movie club on that Friday? The next time I'm on,
we literally do the movie club every single week.
Yeah, it's so stupid. But anyway, we're doing it so when I'm on Friday in a few weeks.
Yeah, but it's only available to rent, so you'd have to pay money for it if we were going to watch it.
I'm paying. I had to get Max to watch Straight Outta Compton.
Well, welcome to adulthood.
Did get to watch the Yacht Rock documentary on Friday.
Bill Simmons hype, rise up, baby. You see the thing with Bill? Do you pay attention at all to Bill Simmons? You see the thing that happened at WWE the other night, where some woman was dancing in front of him and he was like trying not to look at her at all. It was so funny. It's like this new. It's very very funny. You just have to be there, I guess.
Yeah. So be there. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Adam, I don't know. Roided, coked up. I don't know, but I think honestly, there's more of a story there. His response to me made me think there was even more of a story. But like for about a month in college football, he was like the story of college football, though.
Yeah.
Like go back and watch like that month in 1994 of Ekeler highlights. And I mean, yeah, there was something happening. Yes. I mean, clearly his response.
Not
he
great.
Wouldn't have been like, yep, those were good times. Those were fun times.
And that's the I-80 Club. Thanks for joining us. If you're hanging out, if you've made it to the end of this and you're not a subscriber, what are you doing? We would love to have you. Patreon.com/I80 Club. We have a great time. Normally it's not as weird as this one, but it
wasn't weird. It was great.
I had a good time. Weird doesn't have to be bad. I had a great time tonight. I had a great time.
That pod. Let's do more of those.
Couple reminders. If you are listening to this on the free feed and you're like, man, I wish I could hear this without ads. Well, may I recommend Patreon.com/I80 Club for $5 a month, you get every episode. For $8 a month, you can get every episode. And you can hang out inside of our Discord server with many like-minded folks. Lots of conversation. Some of the channels, I'll never see them. So you can talk a lot of shit about me in the Pro Wrestling channel, and I'll never see it. Other channels, I'll see it because I go and hang out there. We would love to have you. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Coming up over the next few days, Nebrasketball brunch show Friday morning. Saturday morning coffee show. Well, Saturday morning, it's in the name. There will be another After Nebrasketball on Sunday. Mike Schaefer and I will have a National Fun League on Monday. We also, Jack, might be doing one on Tuesday because the Vikings game they don't play until Monday night. So we might be doing a recap. Do
we want to do that with him? They're going to lose.
Wow.
Puka's going to go wild on their ass.
All right. Well, and you'll have a fliff bet or whatever they're called. So we'll.
Hell yeah. Oh, man, I'm hot right now. We can talk about that for a while before we go.
And by the way, hit up the link tree. Jack mentioned it earlier. We will have the schedules. We got to put the games in there still, right, Jack? Did I miss or were those in the on the calendar?
Because, no. Well, I didn't know if it's people are having problems with it, so I didn't really do anything with it. But then some people are saying it does work, and I don't really know. But there's a lot of other link tree stuff too. It's I'll put it out there. It's not I haven't really put it out there anywhere.
And by the way, stay tuned for like just scheduling stuff over the next few weeks and months. There will be some games that are on Wednesdays, and so that will move this show. We'll move that to a different day. I have another couple of Wednesday night games for Creighton, so that'll change times or we'll move to a different day. So just check out all of that. And check your email if you're a subscriber. I send messages from Patreon all the time, so go check that.
And Josh and I hope we have either one or two announcements. In the next month.
Oh, there you go. All right, so stay tuned for all of that. That's a hell of a tease. All right, Jack, have a great show on Friday. As you're enjoying your weekend, which you get early, much earlier than I do. And you and I will be back on Saturday. We'll recap the playoff games. We'll preview the playoff games. It's going to be great.
Megan, come defend me.
It's going to be great. All right. Patreon.com/I80 Club for Jack. I'm Josh. Thank you so much for joining us tonight inside of the I-80 Club. We'll talk to you next time.
Go be great.